Hi, you guys. This is Coco Black, and I'm back with the Kai Project. So, we talked last Monday about credit repair and being able to do it yourself, but you have to fully understand all of the ins and outs of that and what goes into actually being able to do that and pull it off and bring your credit score up. And also knowing what the percentages are as far as secured debt, things like that, and what brings in the highest, the highest part of your score. Now, so what I did, um, where we left off last week, we were talking about hard inquiries and things like that. So where I want to start today is knowing the amount that you owe on a specific debt. So let's say it's a car note. We'll go back to that. We'll continue using that. Let's say your car note, the remaining balance on your car loan, or uh, um, you being able to lease this car, your car lease, whatever. The remaining balance on it, in most cases, is going to be more than $1,000. Now, if you have any type of debt that is $1,000 or more, you want to make sure it's beyond the statute of limitation in your state for that specific debt. And the reason I say that is because when you dispute things like that on your credit, you're leaving yourself wide open for to be taken to court and sued for the money. And you're looking at different avenues for the creditor to come after you, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to send up red flags, whistles, and bells for them to come after you with everything they got, because I guarantee you, in most cases, I'm going to repeat that. In most cases, they have more money than you do, and they have more resources than you do. So, what they'll do, they usually have a team of lawyers to litigate their cases for them, things like that. That's a no no. So, like I said, anything on your credit that is over $1,000, you want to make sure it's outside of the statute of limitation. And I'm gonna break down why. Now, like I said, the next step for them is litigation, and you don't want that. In most cases, if that debt is above $1,000, well, below $1,000, it's going to cost them more to file in court, to pay those lawyers, and to come after you for that debt than it will for them for the amount the debt's worth in the first place. So chances are they're not going to take their chances in court and pay all those legal fees and things like that to actually have you pay that money back, because they're actually at that point losing money. Now, so let's see. The next thing is make sure you start disputing things that are within the last 24 months. So this is June. You want to take June and 24 months back and dispute those. And the reason I say that is because FICA's main source of scoring your credit is with the items from the last 24 months. So that means anything that's within the last 24 months would be something that you would dispute that would bring your score back up significantly. Those things are worth more than the things that are on your credit that are older than the 24-month time frame. Now, the last 24 months is what affects your score the most. So you always want to make sure that it's within the last 24 months if you want to see that increase in your credit score jump up. Now, the next one is, something else that I've noticed quite often is, what I get from a lot of my clients. They'll tell me that they've disputed specific items numerous times, and it has still not been removed. And they're following within the guidelines and that kind of thing, and they're doing things by the book. But this item has still not been removed from their credit. Now, keep in mind that first video, what I told you guys, when you dispute an item, you don't want to type it, you don't want to e-file it, and what else was it? You want to make sure that you hand write it because of the machine that they put it through so that they can verify things. Illegal, but they still do it. I dare any one of y'all to try to prove that's what they're doing. So, with that being said, we have to remember to play chess, not checkers. So, we got to play within their rules. We have to use their rules to our advantage and figure out how to do that and do it in a manner that it works for us. This is why I started doing these videos, and this is why I started cleaning credit in the first place. So, chess, not checkers. So then what you'll do, if you continue to have that problem where they're not removing this item, especially if you know that this item is invalid in any kind of way, shape, fashion, or form. And we'll get into that next week about the validity of some of these things that are sitting on your credit that are tearing your credit score up. We'll get into that next Monday. But for the time being, if there are things that are on your credit that you have disputed numerous times and it still remains on your credit, what you'll then ask for is you'll ask for a method of verification letter. And what that method of verification letter does, it forces their hand. In some cases, I've known them to, if they see this thing so many times, this one item being disputed so many times on your credit, what they'll do is they won't read it, they won't verify it, they won't check anything, they won't look it up. They'll just go ahead and write it off and say it's been verified and put it right back on your credit. Well, that's not okay. That method of verification forces them to list in detail how they verified that debt, which makes them have to do their jobs. Now, like I mentioned to you guys last week, they have a certain number of disputes that they have to do within an hour. So, what that does is that also forces their hand as far as their time frame goes, because they don't have all day to spend trying to figure out one item that is on one person's credit and if it's valid or not. So in most cases, they'll go ahead and just remove it. Simple as that. Now, if anybody has any questions, concerns, or comments, go ahead and leave it down in the comment box. Like, share, and what's that favorite one at the end? Oh, God. You guys go ahead and subscribe. Come see about me. I will continue to make that knowledge yours. This is the Kai Project. Coco Black coming back. Talk to y'all next week.